Hi, my name is Christine Grant, and I'm going to talk today about leadership. Leadership is an interesting thing because it means different things to different people. To me, leadership is taking the lead when necessary and knowing when to step away as well. My personal definition of leadership is living my life in a way that honors Christ while encouraging, empowering, and inspiring others to engage in activities that accomplish goals of true meaning. My leadership journey began a long time ago, before I even realized that there was such a thing as a leadership journey. I started working in libraries when I was in 4th grade. I was a library assistant at my local school, and I was even Library Assistant of the Month one month. Now, right after high school, I decided I was going to make this library dream come true, so I started working in the circulation department. I did that for about a year and really enjoyed it. During that time, the head of the children's department saw me working in circ and decided to ask me to apply for the children's position. I was a little scared to do it because I had never done children's programming before, but I thought that if she saw something in me that told her I could do it, I probably could. So I went over to the department and started working in children's. I was a little timid at the beginning, and I won't say I was the best children's programmer ever, but I did learn a lot and I enjoyed it. My next job was at another library, in the News Regional Library, and I worked in the children's department as well as being the second in command at one of the branches. So I had 2 jobs in one, basically. So there were times where I showed a lot of leadership at the small branch. I was the second in charge, so when the other girl wasn't there, I was in charge. Everything was up to me. And at the main location, I worked in the children's department. I did children's programming there. I also worked as a courier for them and went to other locations bringing books and doing story time for their other locations. So that was great. News Regional Library is really an important library to me because it's where I met my husband. He was one of the other librarians. Now, after we got married, he decided to change careers and went into the ministry. We moved to Oxford, North Carolina. And although the Richard H. Thornton Library didn't have a job for me, they did create one. I became an assistant in the children's department, working part-time, 20 hours a week. I did 3 or 4 children's programs a week, but it felt like I had a lot of time on my hands. So I showed some leadership by deciding that we needed to have an outreach program. I reached out to local daycares and ended up reaching 20 daycares each month. After our time in Oxford, I had 2 small children and I decided to stay at home with them. It was a great time, but I realized that I really missed working. But I wanted to stay home. How was I going to do both? Well, I started working for Weight Watchers. I had lost weight with them a few years before and really believed in their program. I started as a receptionist, just working a few hours a week. It wasn't long before I was asked to become a leader, and that's what the title really is called, leader. So I was a leader with Weight Watchers for 5 years, and during that time I was actually even a diamond leader twice, which is just something to show excellence in leadership. After that, we moved to Durham. I had just finished my master's in library science, and I went looking for a job. Who knew it would be so hard? There's so many qualified applicants for so few positions. My first position was at Southwest as a library associate. Now, all the traditional story times were taken. What's a girl to do? Well, I showed some leadership by looking around and figuring out what the holes were. I did that, came up with some amazing programs, and helped build up the programming at Southwest. After that, there was a librarian position available at North Regional Library. Again, I was a little timid because I hadn't done a lot with teens, but I knew I was good at programming and that I could do it. So I went over there. Now, the teens at North get a bad rap, just because there's a lot of them and they like to do things. So what I've found is that if we had a 5-day-a-week program, then I could engage them in productive things. And that's what we've been doing. I've been working here for about a year and enjoying it tremendously. So, to me, leadership is not just about leading people, it's about helping lead organizations from within. Now, going back to my personal definition of leadership, how does wanting to honor Christ help in the workplace? I think that it helps tremendously. Yes, there's a separation of church and state, but what you believe on the inside is definitely helpful in leadership. I don't bring God into conversations at work. It isn't necessary. I just live my life in a way I feel honors Christ. I feel that it translates well with leadership. It helps me care deeply about other people, and it helps me to help them. through encouragement, empowerment, and inspiration. Now, I know what I'm willing to do, and I know what I'm not willing to do. And I know what I expect of others and what I expect of myself. And I certainly would never ask anyone to do something I wasn't willing to do. I think others know that about me and respect that about me. And I think that's a huge part of leadership. The decisions that I make affect other people, and I don't take that lightly. As the teen librarian, I'm actually considered my own department, and while I don't have a staff right now besides myself, I do think that I can use that position to help with leadership within the organization, and I'm certainly doing that. I consider myself a leader whether or not I have that title, and I'll continue to do so. Thank you very much.